There's a smash on the ground to third. Backhanded by Schmidt. Here's the long throw to first. In time to get the fast-moving Shaw. The game is over, and the Giants win their fourth in a row against two of the top teams in the National League. The Brewers in Milwaukee for two, and now the first two here against the Chicago Cubs. The final, the Giants 12, the Cubs 3.
Here's your host, F.P. Santangelo.
Thanks, John. Thanks, DC. Coming to you live from the Hawaiian Airlines broadcast booth, F.P. Santangelo, with the postgame show. I always say that. I get an extra sponsor, and so I'm sure Hawaiian Airlines is excited about that. What a fun one tonight. Giants win 12-3. 1 in the first, the Rafi Devers home run. 3 in the third, 3 in the fifth, 3 in the sixth, 1 in the seventh, 1 in the eighth. They win 12-3, their fourth game in a row. The stat for the water cooler tomorrow, if you do actually go to work and you don't work from home, the Giants have outscored their opponents 28-9 in this 4-game winning streak. They have 20 home runs in their last 10 games, 10 straight games with a ball that leaves the premises. So the Giants are playing good baseball. It was another fun one to watch. 21st career multi-home run game for Rafi Devers. He hit 26 and 27 tonight. His 10th career game with 5 RBI. Matt Chapman his 18th, his 200th career home run. I mean, I have so many notes here. I'm just going straight ADD, just reading my scorecard as we go. So 808 KNBR is the number. I would love to chat with you guys tonight. Give me a call. Lots of times when the Giants lose, I get tons of calls. Lots of times when they win, I don't get calls. We would love to talk about good stuff tonight. Colin Ray tied a season high for total runs given up, the Cubs pitcher, with 7 tonight. He gave up 7 one other time. And the Giants just came out swinging tonight. This is a fun team to watch. They're playing good baseball. They're playing clean baseball. There's really nothing to complain about. Carson Wisenhunt got the 2 double plays with the bases loaded tonight. And that's big boy stuff. For a kid in his 5th major league start against one of the best teams in baseball, a team that was scoring so many runs early in the season, the lineup that he faced tonight, the lineup that he faced last time in Milwaukee, to have the poise to stand out there on the mound and get a couple of double plays with the bases loaded. There was the 6-4-3 and Carson Kelly in the first, and then the big one, what I think was the game. I mean, that was the whole game. I was sitting with Marty Lurie tonight. We were down in the press box in the press area, and we were talking about that might have been his last hitter. You had Peguero loose. I think he even had Matt Gage getting loose. Whether he got Justin Turner out or not, whether he ended the inning or not, I think that was his last hitter. And J.P. Martinez went out to the mound visit. He got the 6-4-3. And that was not an easy double play. The ball hit the side of the mound. DC's back. The ball hit the side of the mound. He wants to hear this because this is really good. The ball at the side of the mound, and then it shot. A lot of times balls get that top spin. They shoot on you, and it just gets past you. It doesn't get in the sweet spot of the glove. And Adames with a slick play and a slick field and the big arm of Casey Schmidt to turn what I thought was the play of the game. That was a ball game right there in the 5th inning, that 6-4-3 double play. Then Peguero came in and was lights out for a couple innings. And Tristan Beck did a nice job to finish it for the Giants. So a 12-3 win. They go 65-68. They are 65-68 on the year. And anything you want to talk about, we got open forum tonight. And I'm trying to get to the phones. Raph, did you text me the callers? Do we have any callers yet? 808 KNBR is the number. The callers are coming. You guys are on your way home. We talk about the last homestand. A lot of Giants fans going home sad that they didn't have anything to cheer about. But there's been plenty to cheer about in this homestand. You come in, the Cubs come off a sweep against the Angels in Los Angeles, and then they come up here and they lose the first 2 games, and they're in a pennant fight with the Milwaukee Brewers. It just seems like, and I could be wrong here, but it just seems like whatever you think is going to happen with the Giants, the opposite happens this year. You know, you think the Pirates are coming into town and they're going to crush these guys, or the Marlins are coming to town, they're going to crush these guys, and then it goes the other way. Then you go to Milwaukee, and they're 42-20 at home when you walk into town, the best home record in baseball. You take 2 out of 3, could have swept them. And then the Cubs come off a sweep. They're playing good baseball. Kyle Tucker figured his swing out. He went 5 for his last 12 with 3 home runs before he came up here, and all of a sudden they've stymied him and the Cubs. So pretty big win tonight. There's 29 games left in the season. And these all are so big, and I know I said last night I'm not giving up, and I'm not. It's just unless they, like Marty was saying tonight, unless there's you're 6 out with 5 games to play, anything could happen. Now, I'm not taking any victory laps and saying the Giants are going to the playoffs, but they're playing good baseball, and this is entertaining. And they're in the entertainment business. So if you're coming to the ballpark right now, you're getting your money's worth. And I just think that, what has it been, the coldest summer in 40-something years in San Francisco? That when it's nice like this and the ball's carrying like this, that it's fun to hit when it's warm. It sucks to hit when it's cold. It really does. Your muscles aren't loose. If you don't hit on the barrel, your hands are ringing for 2 innings, and the wind's blowing, and the ball's not carrying, you're breaking your helmet in the dugout because you hit that ball really good and it didn't go anywhere and the guy caught it. So I really think the weather has had a lot to do, and they're playing good baseball. So let's get to the phones. Enough of me. I want to hear from you guys tonight. That's what this show's all about. Raph is texting me the call. Let's go to Peter. Peter's leaving the game. Peter, you're our leadoff hitter tonight. What do you got?
Hey, man, listen, I'm glad you're doing the Giants on TV too, FP. It's freaking awesome to hear you on the radio with the Giants. And I'm going to remind you of something I told Bill Lasky. I said the Giants are going to make things very difficult for these playoff teams at the end of the year because they're not going to be slumping forever. And they're not. They're putting the wood to the ball. They're getting good barreled up hits. And I'll tell you another thing, too, that bullpen shut out, lights out for 4 innings, I think Kruk was saying. They're going to be somebody to reckon with down the road because they got nothing to lose, man.
They're playing free and easy all of a sudden. And not to put it all on Rafi Devers, and I think Rafi Devers put it all on himself when he came over in the trade. And it's always an adjustment period and feeling comfortable with your new teammates, your new club. Little things like where you live, driving to the ballpark, where do I park, getting into a routine takes a minute. And now he's playing free and easy. And if he goes, the Giants go. And not to put it all on Rafi Devers, but if he's gonna start hitting taters, and his swing's under control like it was tonight, I turned to Marty Lurie after his first home run. I said he's gonna hit 3 tonight. He said, "You think he's gonna hit 3?" And the double he hit in right center field in a lot of ballparks would have been a home run. He almost had 3 home runs tonight.
Yeah, he's in his groove, and I tell you, it makes everybody around him better because you know what? They don't want to mess around with Ramos because Devers is coming up. We got to get him out. We can't put him on. Then you got Adames coming behind him, and it's just like it just keeps going. Adames, Schmidt, I mean, these guys are hot. If they stay hot, look out. I'm looking for a fun fall. Even if they don't go anywhere, if they keep winning series, I'll be happy, and they can finally get some runs for their pitching. Hey, man, great hearing you. I love your show. I love when these guys have you on, man. Thanks a lot, and have a good night.
Thanks, Peter. Good call. Good leadoff call to start the show off. Yeah, I mean, every game's so important. Just go 1-0. Don't start looking at the schedule because then it gets weird, right? If you start thinking about – and baseball players don't think like this. It's us fans that think like that. And if they go 23-6 in their last 29 games, you're looking at 88 wins or something like that. What are they? Yeah, that would be 88 wins. Then you're flirting with October baseball. But I just want to see a good game tomorrow and not come out here and say, "Oh, we won 2 already," and let's. I would love to see him come out just on fire tomorrow and run around like they did tonight. But the story tonight was Rafi Devers and Carson Whisenhunt for me. Matt Chapman went 3 for 4. It's a play I think they should work on in spring training every single day next year, where the runner on first tries to head the ball somewhere with his helmet to try to get an extra run. It's a good play. They need to work on that. I think they did this spring, actually. Stand on first and just go Happy Gilmore and let the ball hit you in the head. That's Justin Turner's fault. Like, Justin Turner hasn't played a lot of first base, but you got to get in front of the runner right there and catch the baseball. You as a first base, I mean, Kyle Tucker did nothing wrong on that play. He threw the ball where he was supposed to throw it, and the first baseman just stood there and watched it hit Chapman in the head. And that was like a ricochet for the ages. I mean, I saw it hit his helmet. I did, and then I couldn't believe how far the ball went off his helmet. So it just grazed him, just a glancing blow, and then another run scored. So yeah, you got to work on that play in spring training next year. That's a good play. Let's go to Jacob in Irvine. Jacob, you're on KNBR. What's going on?
Hey, SP. Great to hear from you. Thanks for taking my call. Obviously, I don't think you can expect a perfect game out of everybody, but the baseball is so much cleaner than it was a month or 2 ago. And when the team's been doing that kind of all across the board, pitching's cleaner, fielding's cleaner. They're playing at the plate way better. And now, it opens up the door for spectacular plays to happen, right? For one of the best double plays I think they've turned all year from Willie, in a tough spot that could have really changed the course of the game. Bases loaded, one out, and then pulling that off, I think, really was a turning point. And then, it brings you momentum when you go into the next bottom frame, and then, obviously it blew the doors off after that. But it's like these little moments where previously it was kind of breaking the wrong way, and when you just play clean going into them, then they can start breaking the right way. But what do you think about that?
Yeah, well, the Cubs didn't play clean baseball tonight. Their left fielder misjudged the Jung-Hoo Lee double, the ball off Chapman's head. They didn't play clean baseball, and the Giants did. Elliott had another adventure out there in left field with the wild throw. And you're just going, oh my God, he's making up ways to make errors right now in left field. But I'll tell you what, at the plate right now, he is getting the job done. What did he do tonight? He went 2 for 4, scored 3 runs. He was on base all 4 times last night, getting the job done in the leadoff spot. I mean, the kid can hit. You're flat out rake. I just think he's got. I think, and I always say I could be wrong because I don't know everything, and I hate when people try to sound smart on this, and I'm not smart. I think he's in his own head in left field. I think it's all mental in left field. He's too good an athlete to be making the plays or not making the plays he's not making and making the throws. And, if he was a second baseman or Anthony Volpe for the Yankees, he would have like the yips right now. Like there's different degrees of the yips too. It's not just it's not either 1 or a 0. There's like a 2 where you're just thinking a lot and you're just overthinking things and you throw the ball and it just has a weird feeling. And there's a 5 when you throw a couple good throws and then you launch one. There's Rick Ankiel would be the 10, right? Of yips, where he just didn't know where it was going. He had to be a center fielder once. He couldn't throw a strike as a pitcher, and he did it on a big stage in the playoffs. But there's different degrees of that to me. And hell, I don't know. You'd have to ask him himself, and he'd probably never say it publicly. But I just think he's overthinking things in left field. And then he gets to the plate, and that's his happy place. He puts those batting gloves on, man. He digs in the batter's box, and there is no negative thoughts in his mind. But I think there's a lot of time to think in left field. When you're standing on defense, there's a lot of time to think about things, and I think that might be the issue. I don't think he's going to be historically this hit or miss in left field moving forward. I think something's going to click for him, and it'll all lock in. But yeah, it's been an adventure out there for him this season. I think that's saying it mildly.
Agreed. And when the rest of the team is playing at the level they are, it really helps to kind of pick you up and wash those moments away. And yeah, he's absolutely been stepping it up at the plate. And I just hope that they can keep the momentum going. And there's a couple of critical moments through the game, and frankly in the last couple games where they've been pulling off wins where it can really kind of tilt one way or the other. And I think it's more so than just a little bit of luck in these good breaks. It's really just playing the right way, even in spite of some of these mistakes. But yeah, actually there was something going around social media or maybe on one of those podcasts where they were saying that Elliott wasn't necessarily expecting to play left, and so he's kind of vowed to make it a focus of his the rest of this season and going into next year. So yeah, hopefully we'll see some improvements, and yeah, that part of his game will definitely get better over time, I think.
If you can hit, they find a place for you to play. Thanks for the call. My favorite part of the game tonight, 808 KNBR is the number. FP Santangelo here up in the broadcast booth. The bunker is closed. I like the broadcast booth better. I don't know why people were mad about the bunker being closed. You're like an animal in the zoo down there. They knock on the window and they're like, "Oh, let's feed the pandas." And then you're just doing a radio show and there's no air and you can't breathe. And then your pit starts sweating. Then you get the crack sweat going. Then you got swamp ass, and it's just not a good scene down there. So being up in the booth is way better. I get to look at the ballpark right now. I'm watching the grounds crew drag the infield. They'll get the Roomba lawnmower out there, the remote control lawnmower, which is badass, and everybody should have one. If you got a big yard, that'd be sweet. But my favorite part of the game tonight, that was your ADD moment of the show, by the way, sponsored by Adderall. Adderall, when you want to pick me up, take one. My favorite part of the game tonight was, where am I looking here? The sac flies in the third inning. Willie Adames with runners on second and third hit a deep fly ball, or deep enough to right field to score the run and advance Devers to third. So he got both jobs done with one swing. Those are the things that get me excited. Home runs are home runs. They're fun. They're sexy. But those things to me are even more sexy. And then Dom Smith came up and with 2 strikes hit a sac fly to center field to score Devers. So I have this in my notes. I think Dom Smith is a better hitter with 2 strikes, and I'm going to tell you why. He shortens up, he spreads out, and he just uses his hands and he lets the ball travel. And I mean, it's not that he's never going to strike out, and a 2-strike adjustment isn't something where you're never going to strike out, but at least you're trying to put the ball in play. And he had 2 strikes on that sac fly, and he takes a little bit out of his swing. He chokes up, he spreads out, and he just kind of throw the hands in the strike zone, put the barrel on the baseball. Good things happen. And he's just such a good hitter with 2 strikes. So those 2 things are my favorite moment. The bases loaded double plays were cool too. I'm not going to lie. But I like fundamentally sound situational hitting. I like aggressive base running with intelligence. I like guys taking the extra base. Rafi Devers was all over the place tonight on the bases. He played an inspired baseball game besides the obvious. And I love little things like that. And Devers tagging up on the fly ball. He saw the throw go to home from Kyle Tucker. Tucker spun and threw to home, and he went to third base. So this is a team that needs to do those things. Yeah, it looks great, 12-3. Offense is cool. But when you do those little things consistently every single night, it just should be a given. Because you can't control once the ball's off your bat. You can't control once you let go of the baseball as a pitcher what happens. But what you can control is the controllables. And I think the controllables are your attitude and your effort every single day. And that's one thing you could bring to the park, your hard hat and your lunch pail every single day, and find a way to beat somebody's ass. And I watched this video, the Jimmy Johnson. By the way, the Cowboys thing, I know we're all Niners fans here. The Cowboys documentary on Netflix is awesome. And there's a lot of Niners in it. There's a lot of Jerry Rice and Romanowski and Steve Young. And they're talking about how the Cowboys wanted to like measure up to the Niners because the Niners were the team of the 80s and 90s. Really good show. I highly recommend it. But Jimmy Johnson was talking to the Miami Hurricanes football team. Either it was yesterday or today. I saw it on Instagram. The Hurricanes posted it, and I'm a former Hurricane. So big game this week, Catholics versus Convicts, Miami, Notre Dame, by part 12 or whatever it is. And I was at the original one in 1988. Best college football game I ever saw. And Jimmy Johnson was talking to the players. And I'm like, it just was the best fire me up speech. And this is what I think the Giants, this is what I'm talking about, attitude and effort every single day. He was talking about the teams of the 80s and what they brought to the table every day. And he said, you know what we invented? We invented swagger. And you know what swagger is? He said, swagger's not a celebration. Swagger's an attitude. Swagger's about coming to the field or the ballpark, but he was talking about football, and knowing that you're going to beat somebody's ass every single day, that you're just going to go out there and beat somebody. And he goes, I wanted my players to be excited. I wanted my players to celebrate. I wanted them to do that, but that's not swagger. Swagger isn't a bat flip and wearing every single elbow guard, shin guard, sweatbands, eye black, sunglasses. That's not swagger. Swagger's an attitude. Swagger's about we're coming to play today, and we're not playing you. You're playing us. I'm not playing you guys. You got to step up your game to play me. That's a championship winning attitude. In the speech that he gave, he's like, we were the least penalized team in NCAA every single year. We didn't get stupid penalties on 15-yard unsportsmanlike conducts. We never got those. He goes, we just celebrated and everybody hated us, and I didn't care. Great speech. If you get a chance to watch it on Instagram, obviously I'm paraphrasing, but I think that really resonated with me, that swagger is not all those other things. Swagger is an attitude. And I think the Giants are playing with that swagger right now, winning 4 in a row. Like I said at the outset of the show, they've outscored their opponents 28-9 the 4 games, 20 home runs over the last 10 games. They've homered in 10 straight games. 808 KNBR is the number. I'm going to take a break because I got to catch my breath. We'll take your calls next on the Sports Leader.
He walked his last time. Here it is, a high fastball driven into deep left field. Way back there. Adios! Pelota! Another fastball over the plate. And Devers launched this one out of here to the opposite field. His second home run of the night. And now it is 10-3 Giants.
Giants fans, this is your hub to have your voice heard. Sports Phone KNBR. Streaming live on YouTube at KNBR 1045.
Rafi Devers dropped a couple of bombs tonight. 26 and 27, 21st career multi-homer game for him. 10th career 5 RBI game. Slow down for Rafi Devers. I was not invited to the San Francisco Celebrity Golf Tournament. I don't know if they know this, but I host the post-game to the post-game to the post-game on KNBR. I'm kind of a big deal. Did not get the invitation. Probably lost in the mail. I just moved. So it sounds like a fun event. The fun event tonight was at Oracle Park. 12-3, the Giants win. They go to 65 and 68. Playing some good baseball. Very entertaining brand of. If you came the last 2 nights, you were entertained. Am I not entertained? Yes, you were. You got your money's worth as a Giants fan, and I think that's important. You know, I talk to a lot of friends that pay a lot of money to come to the games. They just want to be entertained. You're not going to go home with your dauber down if they lose 4-3 and the Giants play a good game, and that's kind of the theme of this. Just play good, clean baseball and see what happens. Stranger things have happened. It would be very strange if they jump back into this thing. I'm not going to lie, but like I said, I don't give up. I never give up on a season until there's an X or a Y or whatever is by your name in the standings when you're eliminated. Or maybe it's by the team that's in front of you. I don't know how that thing goes. But you know what I mean. You get the point. So let's go back to the phone lines. When I do that, I'm vamping to try to get to my cell phone. By the way, you guys heard my rant last night. Raph, you didn't hear my rant last night. I'm trying to be less on my cell phone and more present. And I watched this 80s video on Instagram. It was an AI video about how the 80s miss you. I know you're in 2025, and it talked about how you stayed out all night and, you know, you're with your friends and, you know, the street lights came on and everybody hung out, and it was a simpler time with great music and nobody was looking down at their phones. Nobody's on social media. So I went on this big rant last night, Raph, and I was on my phone all day today. I just
That's what you get.
Do they have like nicotine patches for your phone? Like I could put on a nicotine patch. Do they still have those, by the way? That's how I quit chewing tobacco back in the day. I just put nicotine patches all over myself for 2 months and was the biggest jerk on the planet and finally kicked it. Now I'm addicted to Zins, so that's really good. Back on the nicotine train. But yeah, I'm trying to get off my phone, and I don't know how to do it. It's just such a habit. Like I always have it in my hand, and I'm always on it. And I'm always checking social media, and I'm always texting somebody back immediately. I never let a text message marinate because I feel like it's rude. So I start to like overthink it, even though I might not want to text you back. And if any of my friends are listening, don't take this personally. I just don't want to, but I do because I feel like I'm being rude if I don't. So my phone runs me. I don't run my phone. Like my phone runs my life basically at this point, and I'm trying to stay off it, but it's not working. So if anybody has any tips, like maybe throw it in McCovey Cove or something like that, and let McCovey Cove Dave, who's still got Elliot Ramos's opposite field home run, which still chaps me big time. I don't understand that. You're not that big a deal. You really aren't. You sit in a kayak in the Cove. That's his home run. Well, that's a story for another day because it's positive tonight. We won 12-3. Yeah. So if anybody has any tips on how to quit, I don't know how to quit you, cell phone. I don't know how to quit you. Just somebody help me. Let's go to, is it Peter? Are we at Peter?
Yeah, Peter for next.
Peter in Burlingame. Thanks for waiting and listening to my crap. You're on KNBR. What's going on?
You're good, FP. Hey, I was at the game today, and yeah, it was really fun. It was funny because I bought the ticket. I have a roommate who's a season ticket holder, and he's always trying to sell his tickets. And you know, if they're doing even decent, I'll buy them. And you know, I was like, I still have this ticket, and now we're doing terrible. You know, and like a week ago, I was thinking that, and I was like, am I even gonna go? And they started playing a little better, and I'm like, okay, cool. I don't know if it'll be that fun. And they played, the game they played today was kind of the reverse of what's been going on the last 2 months. I mean, everything was going wrong. and this is just a butt kicking of a pretty good team. So I'm liking what I'm seeing. I just have a question for you. How many wins in a row would it take you to like really raise your eyebrows? If you know what I mean, like, oh, okay, this is getting like interesting.
There's 29 games left, 29 in a row. That would get me interested. No, hey, look, I don't look at it that way. I look at it like one game at a time. Go 1-0 today. Just go 1-0 today. Win one baseball game. And that's really hard. It's not easy at this level, especially against good teams. But it seems like the Giants have played up to their competition this year and down to their competition this year, where they get fired up against good teams and they're crisp. And then, it's appeared that at times against the other teams that there aren't as crisp and aren't as fired up. And that's when you saw all the weird stuff going on, the bases and the outfield and the infield, a lot of strikeouts. And it appeared to be, when you're not hitting, it appears to be uninspired baseball. But trust me, they're trying. But all of a sudden, you play the Yankees in Yankee Stadium early in the year. You take 2 out of 3, I believe. You play the Phillies, you split a 4-game series. I could keep going with all the good teams that they've handled. They handled the Brewers early in the season before the Brewers were the Brewers. They just went to Milwaukee and took 2 out of 3. Now they took the first 2 against the Cubs. And it just seems like when they're playing better teams, they play better. And when they're playing bad teams, they play bad. And if they had taken care of business, what is it? The AL Central gave them tons of problems this year. Name all the teams. I don't even know half the teams in the AL Central. That's a weird division. I know the Tigers are in it, but whatever. The White Sox gave them trouble, right? And so you scratch your head about that if they would have won those games, you're talking like 5 or 6 more wins right now. And we're talking about October baseball. So I'm not going to get into they need to win 10 games in a row. Would it be cool? Hell yeah. It's cool right now winning 4 games in a row. 4 seems like 10. But just one at a time. Come out here tomorrow. I know it's cliche, but it's true. The only game you can focus on is tomorrow. As fans, it's the only game we can focus on. Hopefully everybody comes out tomorrow. It's going to be a beautiful day in the Bay again. And you got the chance to sweep the Cubs. And it could be – it'll get interesting. The Mets are playing good all of a sudden. The Mets just swept the Phillies. And that's kind of the team you're chasing, even though the Mets are chasing the Phillies. I think the Reds are 3.5 games in front of the Giants, but they're out of the playoffs. But that would be the team that you need to leapfrog first, and then things. If they catch the Reds, things will get interesting. That wouldn't mean they're the 3rd wild card. That would just mean they're knocking on the door, and that's when I think things could get interesting. And like I said, I'm not giving up. Hey, look. I would love to hear from the fair weather fans right now. I would love to hear from people that are like, well, maybe I was wrong. But I think, I never tell fans what to think. The one thing I always just say in 2010 when I was on the radio is like the bandwagon's big enough for everybody. Even if you jumped off a couple weeks ago, even if you jumped off a month ago, even if you're still skeptical about coming out to ball games, I understand that. Never tell a fan what to think. They're the ones paying. I love that Giants fans are this passionate, but there's plenty of room on the bandwagon if this thing starts to get weird. And I hope it gets weird. Don't you? Wouldn't that be cool if there was just chaos in September and we're coming to the ballpark and it's just jumping, and then you're starting to scoreboard watch and you're starting to, oh God, there's nothing. The only thing I think that's better than October baseball is September baseball in a pennant race. That's the only thing that's better than October baseball.
That happened in 2010, right?
2010, they won the NL West the last day of the season. I was at the ball game. I did the pre and the post game for, I think it was Comcast Sportsnet Bay Area back then. And they had momentum and they were winning. And you just had, the team had a feeling about it. They just had the momentum going into the playoffs. And I think everybody picked the Braves in the first round. And I was the only one on KNBR that picked the Giants. And then everybody picked the Phillies in the next round. I was the only one on KNBR that picked the Phillies. And then the Rangers had 1 million wins that year, and they were the underdogs in the World Series. And I think a couple people came around to the Giants in the World Series, but I picked a sweep in the World Series, and they won it in 5 games. So you just have that sense and that feeling when the team has it. And if you're playing great baseball at the end of the season and you just like run the table into the playoffs, that's usually the team that wins the World Series. That's why I think wins are overrated in the regular season. How many times have we seen a team with 105 wins get ousted in the first round? Let me go back to the phones. I have to open my phone, which I'm really good at because I'm on it all day. Let's go to Joe in Stockton. Joe, you think anything can happen, don't you?
How'd you know, FP?
It says on the call screen thing right here that I'm reading.
We've talked before. We've talked about your mentor, Jerry Weinstein, and so forth. You have the right attitude. You were taught right, man. You don't quit. Things go bad sometimes. You find your way back, and you don't quit. Pitching and defense. You score timely runs, and Rafi looks like he's having fun. He finally looks like he can relax. So, and they've got the lineup going, and I think there's chances. And this guy that came in and pitched today, I forgot his name, Joel
Pagero, he throws 102 miles an hour. He pitched 2 innings. He still doesn't have an earned run average. He struck out 3 tonight.
What the heck's going on? Where'd they find this guy? 27 years old and just made it to the majors, 100-mile-an-hour fastball.
Right, he was the talk of spring training. If you remember, all the way back to Scottsdale in March, he was the guy that everybody's talking about. And then he went to AAA and he wasn't missing bats, which is really weird when you throw 102 with a nasty slider that he wasn't missing bats, not striking out a lot of guys. And then all of a sudden, Randy Rodriguez goes on the IL. Camilo Duvall gets traded, and then there's opportunity. Yeah. And every career has to start somewhere. And it doesn't matter when, if you're 22, 23, 24, 27. Every career starts somewhere, and it might be a little bit early to say this, but like maybe his career is starting right before our eyes. Maybe this is a guy that's could be a dude out of the Giants bullpen moving forward. I'm a firm believer, and this is just my philosophy. I love power arms late. I love guys that throw 100 late. I don't like tricky guys. I know Tyler Rogers had a great career here as a Giant. He might be a Giant again next year. You never know. But I don't like to sit there and go like, ooh, trick him. I like, hey, here it is. Hit it, bro. Here's my best bolt. If you can turn around 102, I'm going to tip my cap as you round the bases. Those are the guys I like late. I don't like trick pitches or nasty this or just come at me with your heater, man. That's the bullpens that get me going, that get my blood flowing.
I'm not a sabermetrics guy, but the two things I use to figure out where they're at, does the pitching give up 4 runs or less, and does it 4 runs or less, and do we score more than 4 runs in a game? And you look at the stats, that's usually the case. And I've been doing this just by accident in 2010. I still remember, I had to win the last game. 88 victories is what I wrote down just yesterday, how many wins they need to make it to the playoffs. So
that would be 23-6 from here on out. Even though I just did this whole speech about one day at a time, that'd be 23-6 for 88 wins.
So I just want to say though, one thing that's different, we're not on the East Coast, so fans are a little more forgiving, but we're starting to get that when I listen to KNBR in the morning sometimes. They're going to remind me of the East Coast sportscasters, so I quit listening to them after today. I said, no more. I'm not listening to them the rest of the year. You know the game. You play the game. You know what it takes to win. We got some guys that can win. We got some pitching. We got 3 guys that have experience. You got Webb, you got Verlander, and you got Robbie Ray. You bring the other guys and grab them by a headlock and say, hey, you get it done when I'm not out there, and they will. This is what they got right now. They just got to keep on believing, and fans just got to believe. You can't. I don't like when people overanalyze things, man. It's a simple game, but it's the hardest game ever to play, and it's a fun game to watch. And you know what? I'm hoping and wishing. If it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. But we're going to go down to the end. That's the way it's going to be.
I would imagine, Joe, there's a lot of Giants fans that are hoping it doesn't happen because they want this or that guy fired or this guy fired or something new. I bet you I would guarantee you there's a portion of the fan base that's silently or keyboard couragely, even though that's not a word, rooting for the Giants to fail down the stretch. To your point, Joe, to your point, do you know what the Giants' record is when they score 4 runs or more? 48 and 20. They're 48 and 22 when they score 4 runs or more. You know what the record is when they score 3 runs or fewer?
Oh, they haven't won a game. They haven't won a game the last. I marked it down to 108 games, 54, 54, and 54. They have not won a game in this last phase when they scored less than 4 runs.
That's not their record, Joe. The record is 16 and 46 when they score 3 runs or fewer. Score 4 runs or more, 48 and 22. So to your point, you said you want them to score 4 runs. If they score 4 runs, what is that? 26 games over 500? 26 games over 500 when they score 4 runs or more.
Yeah, that's what I meant, though. Since this last, I marked 108, so we got 54 left that I used. 54 times 3 is 162. They haven't won a game in this last phase since they started on 7:30 against Pittsburgh.
Too many numbers,
haven't won a
Joe.
game.
Thanks for the call, buddy. I
Yeah.
appreciate it. You lost me. I don't like math and I don't like words, like reading words. I like talking words, but reading's hard. Like when you read a book, there's just so many words, and then you turn the page and there's more words, and then you think you're getting close to the end and there's more words, and I just rather look at Instagram. Let's go to. Where am I at? Tom leaving the game. Tom, are you there? Tom.
FP, how you doing, Burrow?
I'm doing good, man. I'm always in a good mood when the Giants win. I still got a lot of player in me. When they lose, I go home and I'm not happy, and I mope around the house, and it takes a while to shake it off. Like even on the road, like when Dave and Javi and I are together, sometimes we'll go have a pop after the game. It's just we don't do it when they lose tough ones. We're just like, I'm going back to the room. And then I'm going back to the room. Yeah, let's go back to the room. And when they win, they're like, when they win, we're like, yeah, let's go have a drink somewhere. And they, like one, and then we go back to the room. It's so there's still, we care. We're invested. And that's the one thing I would always say, like, we're all in this together, whether it's the fans, whether it's the hosts at KNBR, whether it's the social media at KNBR, whether it's the players, we're all in this together, man. And for in thick or thin, if you're a true fan, you don't say, I'm not watching the Giants game tonight, or I'm not going to the Giants game tonight because I'm entitled now. We won 3 World Series in 10, 12, and 14, and anything but a World Series is we suck. No, man. But part of the beauty of baseball is that it's an everyday thing. That's why it's the best sport in the world. With the Niners, I got to wait a week if they lose. I got to wait a week if they win. Baseball is every day, the ebbs and flows, the rhythm of the season. And then, there's 16 more home games on the schedule, if I'm not mistaken. And regardless of where this team finishes up, I'm going to be jonesing for baseball after that. I can't get on my scooter and come over the yard and talk to you guys. I can't watch a baseball game on the corner at 3rd and King. So I like my baseball like I like my pizza. I like it anyway. I don't freak out when my team doesn't win, unless I'm in the dugout in the clubhouse, and that's what I do for a living. But we do take it hard for a little bit after every game. And like I always say, these guys don't sleep at night. We get pissed and call KNBR, or we get on KNBR and scream and yell. But with these guys, it's their livelihood. When they lose, and a coach loses, and a manager loses, and a player loses, they have a bad game, they don't sleep. It's their life.
Agree completely. And so I've got 2 examples of how your point is just totally being made by us two. I'm sitting here on, what are we on, 3rd and Harrison, right across from the NBC studio, smoking a cigar like we do after every Giants game, win or lose. And, we sit in here, actually, we just kind of make it fun. Even if the Giants lose, we bring a little Amazon purse. We plant it across the street. We put a little book in there about kleptomania and see if someone takes it. We see how long it takes before someone steals it. It's awesome. So that, just make it fun, right? Just enjoy the game. So that's part 1. Part 2.
Teasing homeless people is fun.
There's always a lot. It's dinner and a show here out in the parking lot. It's
awesome.
My
goodness. All right.
So
you made me laugh. That's kind of funny. Even though it's not. That's just not right. That's not right. That's not politically correct. I can't believe you do that.
Someone just stole it like 5 minutes ago, so it was pretty cool.
Dude, what you should do is put a fishing line around it, and when they go to steal it, yank it, and then just keep yanking it.
Yeah. Pull a cord on that one.
Yeah, because you can't see the fishing line. In AAA, we have these long layovers. I played in Ottawa, Canada. We were in the International League. Story time with FP. Gather around, kids. And we would take a $5 bill, and we would tie a fishing line to it in the airport. We'd have a 3-hour layover. We always flew to Philadelphia first and then somewhere after that. But we'd have layovers because there was one flight out of Ottawa, Canada at 6 a.m., and we get to Philly by like 7, and our next flight would be at like 10:30. So we were bored in the airport. So we'd have one guy, he was the stunt man. He would have his headphones on, and he'd be walking down like the main corridor, the terminal, and he would be thumbing through some money, and he would drop the bill that had the fishing line on it. And people would say, sir, and they'd tap him, but he had his headphones on. He'd just keep walking like he couldn't hear him. And then we're all over on the side, off to the side, and one of us had the fishing line, and then we got the videos going. Back then it was video cameras, not our cell phones. I'm aging myself. And then they'd reach down for it and you pull it. And then they'd reach down for it again, you pull it. And then by the 3rd time, we're all cracking up. And some people would laugh and some people would get pissed. Like they get really mad. So we had a videotape with remember the camcorders? We'd film them all the time. So my recommendation to you unofficially, and I will never take credit for this, even though there are people listening, is try a fishing line if you're going to do. I'm going to get in trouble for
We
this.
will try that.
I'm going to get in trouble. Yeah, try the fishing line trick.
Hey, we've been looking for a way to kind of mix it up a little bit because it's been getting taken a little faster than we've been expecting recently. So, we'll mix it up. We'll let you know how it works out.
All right. Yeah, yeah. Report back whenever I'm on again. I don't even know when.
I will say this, to your point about just enjoying the game. Not been a great fan of the Cubbies, ever since 2016 and just how we went out and just like, man, even though it was like you could tell the baseball gods in 2016, it was all about the Cubbies. They had to get their win, right? So, all right, we're sitting down in second inning. Horner hits that homer. There's this, we're in section 127. Right next to us in 126, front row, there's this big Cubs fan. He's just reeling it in. He's dropping F-bombs. He's not endearing himself to anyone around him. He's getting warned. He's going to get thrown out. So everyone's just like, hey, get this guy out of here. Anyway, fast forward a few innings, right? And now we're up 10-3. I got to say, he completely did a 180 on me. I've never seen anyone do this before. The cotton candy guy comes down. He's like, all right, I'm going to go buy 6. He buys 6 bags. And everybody in the crowd's like, all right, yeah, keep going. And the guy, he starts just throwing them to the crowd and like, hey, giving us the ear and everything. He ended up buying 20 bags of cotton candy. He bought the guy's whole stringer out, was hucking them to the whole fans. This guy completely did a 180. We all loved it. It was just, obviously the guy's upset, right? He's here from Chicago. His team lost. He turned it around. I just got to give a little shout out to the Chicago fans in this one case, the tool bag, he turned it around. He kind of won me over. I'm not as much of a Chicago hater as I used to be.
The Cubs fans are great, man. Some of my favorite times were at Wrigley Field. It's a big party with a baseball game going on in the middle. Cubs fans are great. I've always been a fan of Cubs fans. I was hoping that story had a good ending because I was going to tell you that he was the exception to the rule, that most Cubs fans are really cool. And they're just happy to be there. They want to win. They can get cranky when their teams. I was talking to some Cubs people today, and they feel like some fans right now think they're 20 games out of it. They're playing bad baseball, and the world is ending. But generally speaking, Midwest nice is a thing. And when you go to Milwaukee, the fans are great. When you go to Chicago, the fans are great. You go to St. Louis, they think they invented baseball. They're not so great. But the Cubs fans, I've always been a fan. So that's cool. It's a good story.
Yeah, it was fun. Fun time. Hey, like I said, first-time caller, long-time listener, love your show. We'll keep listening. We'll keep, we'll put out the fishing pole and see how that works and let you know, man.
Joe, your call made my night. Your call is the reason I do this show. Thank you very much.
All right, buddy. Take care.
Take care. Yeah, speaking of Nico Horner, wouldn't he look good in a Giants uniform? Just saying. Wouldn't he look good as a San Francisco Giant? Rumor has it that he just bought a house in the marina for the off season. So step one, check, because he's from here, and I think his wife is from here, and they met at Stanford or something like that. It's so the story goes. But yeah, he's moving to the marina, and that's not a bad commute to Oracle Park for 81 games. And I really like the way that guy plays. That's the kind of player. That guy is the kind of player that the Giants need. Like 4 of those guys to go around Adames, Chapman, and Devers. Just a bunch of Nico Horners running around the place, putting the ball in play, stealing bases, making plays on defense, being scrappy. Let's go get 3 clones of Nico Horner, and then we'll have a parade on the corner at 3rd and King. All right, I got to go back to my phone. I opened it. Tom, you're leaving was that Tom? No, that was Tom. I said it was Joe. Tom, that was such a good call. That might be my favorite call in a long time, even though I was contributing to the delinquency of the city. 3rd and Harrison is a rough place. I'm just saying. Like he's in it over there. It's not like he's in Pack Heights right now. It's not like he's on Union Street in the marina. Like 3rd and Harrison can get a little rough at times. So he just decided, I'm going head first. I'm putting my helmet on. We're going in, and we're going in hard, and we're gonna tease the zombies, and he's teasing zombies tonight. And there's something weird about me, and I know it's incorrect, but I like that. Let's go to Zachariah. Zach, you're on your cell. What's going on? You're on KNBR.
I'm gonna take Zachariah or Sir, whichever you prefer nobody calls me Zach. But before I talk to you about what I wanted to talk to you about, I'd like to address your addiction to your phone, sir. I was going to suggest to you airplane mode and a book, but it seems like you hate books. But
No, I'm just joking. I read books. They just gotta have a lot of pictures.
Oh, okay. Airplane mode and a book, my friend. That'll do you well. I'm everybody you were just talking about. I've been here forever. I've been a Giants fan forever. And I take it really, really personal. Like, I know it's entertainment, but, like, this is the closest thing to gang warfare for me. I love my team. I love when they win, and more importantly, I hate when they lose. So when they lose, and not just lose, but, like, lose in an embarrassing, stupid fashion, it hurts me. It's, like, painful to watch, especially when they lose to the bums. See, I care more about them beating the bums than them winning the World Series. That's all that's ever really mattered to me. I've been rooting for my team to win all year, and I've been watching them lose in stupid ways to the point where I really, really wanted Blowmill, and I call him Blowmill because he blows games. I want Blowmill to get out of here. I want him gone. And then I get this news article come across my desk talking about Bochy is not ready to retire and he doesn't want to stay in Texas. So I'm thinking, okay, I need my team to lose every single game. So there's no excuse for Buster to keep Blowmill here. And as soon as I start rooting for my team to lose is when they start winning all these games against great teams. And I'm mad. But, you know, if you're going to say I'm not a real fan, I understand.
No, Zachariah, I want you to be my friend because you're scaring me a little bit. I don't want to be on your people to kill list. I think you're scaring me and you're scaring the listeners. And I didn't mean to call you Zach. I totally apologize. And I think you're the coolest person that's ever called this show. And I want to be your friend.
Likewise.
And maybe we should go to lunch and hang out. And I don't know, maybe Golden Gate Park and take a gummy and just go around and just look at the trees together.
Muslims don't eat gummies, but I appreciate you.
All right, Zachariah. Thanks for the call. Zachariah I understand where he's coming from, but you just can't take every single game so seriously. You can't. It's a sport. It's our release. Raph, you can start playing the music. I think the calls are done. It's a release. It's for us to kind of escape from reality every night. We get 3 hours if the game goes long now, where we have baseball, and it's the everyday of it, man. That's what makes it so beautiful. It's every single day for 6 months. And these guys are banged up right now, physically, mentally. Everybody's got something going on, and they're still showing up for you guys, and they're still trying to put on a good show for you guys. And I think they have confidence now, and they got their swagger back. They got the mojo back. And who knows where this goes. I'm not going to sit here and go, it's a playoffs. It's going to be tough. It is. They've dug a deep hole, but if you just go one day at a time, what they did in Milwaukee the last 2 games, what they did the first game last night, a thumping 12-3, Rafi Devers goes 4 for 4 with 2 home runs. That's the team that we all grew to love in April and May and maybe early June. So hopefully they give this thing a finish and we're all entertained every night. I was really entertained by you guys tonight. Thanks for all the calls. That was fun. Was it Tom? Tom.
Yeah, it was Tom.
Tom is still out there, Tom. Fight the good fight, Tom. I hope Zachariah doesn't run into you, because then you're in trouble. Don't do the fishing line thing on Zachariah, because you'll get hurt, and that won't be funny, and I don't want to hear about that. All right, thanks for all the calls, Raph. It's nice to hear your voice again, man. It's been too long since we worked together. I think I'm doing some shows in September. I can't remember when. I got to check my phone, but thanks for locking it down and taking all the calls at home base. Thanks for all your calls. Day game tomorrow, 12:45. Be there or be square at the ballpark. Giants go for the sweep. And like I say every single time on the way out, swing hard in case you hit it on the Sports Leader.